Greetings and welcome to our 2nd of April 2023 live stream. I want to start by thanking KJ and Midnight Scribbler for taking the time to say hello in the live chat. If anyone else wants to, it's always good to know you're there, and if you've got any suggestions or subjects you want us to look at, we will be streaming for a bit longer this evening, so we'll have time to touch on other things. That said, I do have a couple of things we will be looking at. I did say in the pre-show that tonight's title, Reclaim the State of Mind, or Reclaim Your State of Mind, is for anyone. We're touching on maybe mental health and treatment plans for mental health. But, yeah, okay, that will be something we'll look at in the second half of the stream. I will kick off with something I saw on a channel, UAP. I've put a link in the live chat, and I'll also put it in the description for tonight's video. Yeah, a good channel, well worth checking out. And he happened to cover a video with a guy who, right, it says fake super centenarians over 120 years old lie for attention or money. Amazing. This is a clip from the, let's see, I'll take you to the actual video, because you might look at that and think, what actual, what absolute terrible image quality, and that really is as good as they offer. There's only 2 videos of this person, Charlie Smith, who was a 130-year-old, he claimed to be. It's on the subject of what we looked at in the pre-show, in the video, Act Short, which was part of a series I did where I'm suggesting the actors we see in soaps are a lot more made up or altered than you might believe. Just because we see their Instagram page and it looks like they are almost identical to what we see them in the soaps, doesn't necessarily mean that is the case. Right, we'll go to the actual video where apparently during the Apollo 17 launch, 130-year-old Charlie Smith, let's go onto the actual YouTube page if we can. Oh, hang on, what am I doing? We'll have a listen, just hear what he says. An interesting thing for them to have said, but really what I'm wanting you to focus on is this guy's face. Rubber mask.
He's with Charles Smith. He's a 130-year-old former slave who came to this country 118 years ago. He's here for the launch of Apollo 17.
By the way, all credit to UAP for bringing this video to my attention, and I'd certainly recommend, I will leave a link before we finish up on this. I'm not going to watch it in as much detail as UAP does, but I certainly think it's worth a glance. Oh, we've lost audio. Oh, no, we haven't.
We have here among the VIPs one very unusual man. He's at least 130 years old. His name is Charles Smith.
How insulting is that? We have a very unusual man. Yeah, he is a very unusual looking man, I'll give you that.
And do you believe it really happened? You said they would never go to the moon.
No, they ain't going there. I'll tell them that. And nobody's going to believe it. No, ain't nobody going to no moon. No. What they going to stop up there? What going to hold that plane up in the air? What is going to hold it up there? The moon ain't going to hold it.
Oh, they've been before.
Is this just, an incredibly well switched on member of the public that happened to get interviewed on the day Apollo 17 launched and called it correctly that they're not going to the moon? Or is it something a bit more deliberate?
Well, of course, I don't blame them for getting it. Just like when the first man killed the president, the first president that was killed, Guitar killed Garfield. There's something they had him. I brought him back. Said, bring it dead or alive. I got him.
They brought back rocks last time when they made a trip to the moon. Do you believe that?
No. No, ain't nobody been there.
I do believe the idea that they didn't go to the moon is something the people that present us with the rubbish in the first place by taking control of anyone that happens to call them out. They do it first. Yeah, if you want to, best way to beat the opposition is to control the opposition. So anyone, yeah, I don't doubt at the time this was the only person that didn't believe what they were seeing. By the way, I'm going to put a tick. As for this guy, Charlie Smith,
You don't believe they've been to the moon?
apparently it came out that he wasn't actually 130, well, they did bone tests or something. Who knows if he... My opinion is it's just someone, it's as fake as the moon landing itself. Even the interviews of the members of public they did were probably just as faked. I mean, does that look like a... We'll try and get a better image of this guy. What's he called? Charlie Smith. However, if you asked him, so why do you think they haven't been to the moon? What do you think his answer is going to be? So we could beat Russia in the space race. Here's a picture of him. Okay. Does it look legit and real? There's one they used on, I think, on their... It looks almost like a stone carving. It just looks kind of artificial. But I don't know. You, of course, will have to be the judge of Charlie for yourself. However, yeah, my opinion is that prosthetics, rubber masks, etc. are heavily used. Okay, I'm going to put a link to... I'm sure I've already put a link in the live chat, actually. Let's see. Yeah, that was to the video, so I'll put a link to the channel, as I think he's definitely worth subscribing to, UAP. Let's see, as I said, sorry, yeah, why do you, if they ask, I'm not sure if they go as far as to ask him, you'll have to watch the rest of that interview yourself. Yeah, apparently bone tests carried out after his death in 1979 revealed that Smith was 99 to 105 years old. If you trust those people that took those tests, who knows? Again, they would never go beyond calling the space race, you know, they'd never go out beyond calling out space travel, beyond we're trying to win a space race. So still staying very much in the paradigm that space is exactly as presented by the mainstream. Absolutely not something I agree with. It seems to have an intrinsic link with the demonic, the supernatural. When you look at the supposed people that are meant to be going up there, Elon is probably, in my opinion, is the most bizarre of them all. Do I think he's a genuine person? No, probably not. Same as Richard Branson. I doubt he also is a legitimate one. Just someone to make us believe, you know, if we work hard enough, we too could be billionaires sending rockets into space, when the reality is even setting on that road is a task to failure. But I mean, what a waste of time that would be. I want to say hello to Jeff Gashead for tuning in. Thanks for commenting. Yeah, I saw a picture where they're mentioning Grimes, that's apparently the name of his partner. Very bizarre person. Grimes and Elon Musk have revealed they changed their daughter's unique name to a single letter, reminiscent of Prince, the musician, who changed his name. Elon's son, I mean, hang on, they just said daughter, so these are the sorts of names they're giving their children. Is it worth bringing up the numerology calculator and seeing if there's any relevance to them? The sun's name in Pythagorean is 37 and 19. And also, yeah, they show us one of the kids, but in their usual typical way. Yeah, we're going to look at Grimes in a minute. Hopefully it won't be too disturbing, because I do believe, at the very least, a very disturbed individual. Then it comes after Grimes and Elon changed their 2-year-old son's name to comply with California law. I wonder what California's law was. They welcomed their son XAEA and intended to call him, which is pronounced XASH-A12. That's an odd one. What was it? XASH-A12. 46 and 49. Bizarre name. And here is supposedly an image of the child. As normally this stuff is on Instagram, which it probably is, so I did think we would go on Grimes' Instagram page. I think I thought I had it open. No, his Twitter page, that was it. This is how they go by. Let's have a look at, of course, the partner, someone who is supposedly involved in space travel, happens to seem to be quite heavily into demonic entities. You might think, just from one image, that that's stretching it a bit, but we'll look further down their timeline and see if any other demonic entities happen to show up. I could say, you may say there's one right there, Lady Gaga. I don't know if you ever heard her interview with Jonathan Ross. We might play that later on before we finish. Let's see, there is the dragon, of course, a video up of fire dragons circling around spheres. Again, the ears, I think, whether they've deliberately had the dragon, whether the ears have deliberately been misshapen, devil horns. The amount of shit we're gonna, I thought that was something to do with DNA, it was GNA. Yeah, this is the image of the child, apparently. One thing that I would maybe call out, or take a closer look at the very least, is, as always, the air. Does it look slightly rubbery, silicone, plastic, dough-like? I know they're trying to make it, because the mother's got strange ears, which are clearly, in my opinion, either prosthetics, like Dr. Spock ears, or they've been cut in the way that Grimes has them. Matching red suits, of course. Greetings to Sun Star Thunder Lightning. Just passing through, wishing you a good evening. Thanks ever so much for passing through, Sunstar. It is appreciated. I hope you enjoy however much of the stream you happen to catch. More dragons. Let's see. Apparently there's a Grimes bot, which is I guess it's meant to be like artificial intelligence based on the answers that this supposed woman would give. Scary stuff. Sorry, bear with me. I'm just going to turn off the background audio. Sorry if that's been playing incessantly and distracted. Hopefully hasn't been too bad. KG says his baby's mama looks weird. Absolutely does. The baby looks kind of strange as well if you look closely. Is that a reference to Eve and eating the forbidden fruit? Blasphemy one way or another. Yeah, they also, as we carry on down, they display another image. Right, here it is. Yeah, we could zoom in on the ears on that one. Do these look real to you? Let's just get a close-up. Or is it just like that 130-year-old Charlie Smith? Are they just using prosthetics? I mean, even if you've got the strangest ears in the world, I seriously don't think they would come out looking like that. That's assuming that is even the person. Yeah, I think it's meant to be. I mean, I thought they were mixed race or something. I'm not sure. Maybe they're not. Right, where are we? Yeah, here's the actual ear. Oh, I can't get not a particularly good shot on that one. Right, we're getting to the interest. Well, there they are on stage. Apparently, I think they're meant to be artists. I think they're meant to be an artist. I'm guessing this is meant to be maybe them when pregnant. Who knows? Here. This is going to be their new profile pic, they said. Again, another channel I came across recently was, I think it's Founded Earth Brothers, and they, was it Founded Earth or Taboo Conspiracy? One or the other, and they were mentioning the, hang on, let's see if I can find it. Let's see if I can find the channel. I'm pretty sure it was Founded Earth Brothers. And they showed that exact image. Let's see, where was it? I'm sure it was on their channel. Maybe not. Yeah, here it was. The real dark side of it, was pointing out how this very thing that Grimes is telling us they're gonna change their profile picture to. Where is it? Is actually, it's a reference to, I believe it's a demonic entity that allegedly was raised or something. I'm not sure. Yeah, Jeff says got jug ears. There's some sort of peculiar ears. I will put a link to this channel as well. Perhaps I'll do that while the adverts are playing. I'm always happy to watch the adverts on channels that I enjoy. Founded. Okay, it's in the chat. Right, where are they? I'm not going to play too much of this person's video, but I would seriously recommend you check it out for yourself. It points out how the origins of Yoda are. Let's see. There's maybe we'll just.
So, long story short, I came across this, and this little Yoda-looking character made me go back and investigate that narrative that this guy is based on a demon, and what I found really backs that up. because you see him appears in these really creepy.
I believe that is exactly the same the same character, as it were. And what a surprise. Grimy wants to change their profile picture to this. One of the images of this seems to be, I'm not sure if that's a reference to sleep paralysis, something I have spoken about in the past. Yeah, Elizabeth Levi, a 33rd degree Mason, the famous British occultist, is pictured here conducting a demonic conjuring ritual involving a demon, Mephistopheles, also known as Yoda, into our space-time. Culture comes from the cult. Movies and music are used for indoctrination. Star Wars director, where Yoda comes from, George Lucas, is a high-ranking Freemason. So, yeah, space travel. Is it closer to demonic entities than we may be led to believe? I certainly wouldn't be the first person to suggest that extraterrestrials are demonic entities. Or is the... am I suggesting this person is one? Well, if it turned out that they were going to put one on our TV screens, then this is kind of what I would expect them to look like. Or are they just cleverly made up to look as creepy as possible? Yeah. Freak shows all the way. Another one of their baby images where, of course, they don't take a picture of the front. It also has the ribbon round it, which I'm not saying this is a doll, but anytime, quite often when you look for, real reborn dolls, I think they're called. We'll do a quick search for that, maybe. You do see these exact same head dresses. There we go. There's an example. You always see... Yeah, they always seem to put these headdresses on them. Is it just a coincidence that their baby happens to have one on? Could be. The Birth of Tragedy is a... Oh, I guess that's a music track? I don't know. Yeah, frightening stuff. I did something crazy. What, had your ears removed? Had your ears reshaped? Had some horrific surgery done to change your appearance? Wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, Jeff says Yoda is an evil entity. It's Star Wars present him as an extraterrestrial, of course, so if extraterrestrials are actually the demons from the heavens, then yeah, I guess that would be one way to look at Yoda. KG says check out the Bogdanov twins if you have time. We always have time for a suggestion from you, KG, so we'll do that. By the way, is it a channel? Or is it... Right, of Russian origin. He was born in the January 28th. I'm assuming, or is it these people here? Just said someone was born in 1928, right? I'm guessing it. I'm assuming you're referring to Igor and Grichka. So who was born in 1928 then? Okay, one died in January 22. The other died in 2021. Were French twin television presenters. They presented various subjects in science fiction. There you go again. Science fiction, generally to do with outer space. Popular science, cosmology. KG, by the way, are you suggesting these are maybe not as it would seem? Okay, Igor and Grichka were identical twins born to Maria Dolores. Okay. 1926, that's who was born in 26. Very wide shoulders on this person, and we'll point that out. Of course, yeah, Wikipedia. I'm sure there's much better sources I could find on these people. Let's see. Yeah, we won't go to Wikipedia. We'll just go to some of their images. That is very disturbing. Again, it says they presented stories on subjects about cosmology, space, or the heavens as they may be. Yeah, again, were extraterrestrials, as it were, demonic forces being presented to us on TV. Yeah, I guess this is very similar to what you might expect them to look like. I mean, they look a lot more human here, if this is the same two people. Oh, they died of bullshit 19, 6 days apart, of course. If they died in that time frame, then it would be nothing else. Grichka and Ivan became France's most famous twins. Hang on, can I get a better image up? They died of the virus within days of each other. Age 72, the brothers had not been vaccinated. Terrible. Their friends said they were convinced their healthy lifestyles would protect them, and they were admitted to hospital in mid-December. What a surprise it came down to this. Although their families did not specify the cause of deaths, okay, their lawyer confirmed they had both contracted the virus. Right, therefore they must have died of it to them. Family friend Pierre Jean said they had left it too late to seek treatment, deciding it similar to the flu. People have said they were anti-vaxxers, but they absolutely weren't. Several friends told them to get themselves treated, but they felt because of their good lifestyle, they weren't at risk. That's suggesting that a healthy lifestyle is no match for any illness that might come their way. So you could say this article is a advert for get your treatment. Even though they lived healthy, they still should have been treated. During the 1990s, their facial features changed dramatically, leaving them with odd-looking chins, lips and cheekbones. We're proud of having faces like extraterrestrials. Wow, what a admission. I mean, they don't look particularly demonic here, although I would say that is a wig that person's wearing. The brothers later tried their hands at academic work, writing doctorals in mathematics and theoretical physics. So, pretend physics then. Theoretical, not real. Which were both panned by their peers. Ridiculed by sections of the media, they won the 2014 court case for defamation. Okay. Asked why who cares? I mean, imagine being asked this question. Asked why they had chosen not to have the vaccines. That's like being asked, why haven't you had treatment for chlamydia? Well, because I haven't got chlamydia, of course. But no, this particular thing is something that is vitally important. He was just anti-vaxxer himself. They were both athletic, which is with not an inch of fat, and they thought the vaccines were more dangerous than the virus. Interesting. Before they were admitted to hospital, the twins had been working on a pilot project to resurrect their old TV show, again set on a spaceship, and planned for broadcast on another channel. They'd gone towards the light, that being the stars probably, surrounded by his family and children and family. Yeah, do you know what, I probably have seen these people before, but they're not, that wasn't a story I was familiar with, so thank you for suggesting the Bogdanov twins, KG. And what a surprise, they ended up using them to advertise BS19. Yeah, what kind of... You couldn't call a doctor, anyone that would do this to a perfectly healthy human face, I don't think you could call a doctor. I don't want to zoom in on it because it's quite disturbing. These are obviously fake hair pieces. Probably the same fake hair pieces they were wearing back in the early images of them. Where was that? Yeah, same fake hair probably. Interesting. Right. KG says they're extremely odd, and you don't believe they're dead, and you think a demon took over the younger twin's body. Who knows? Perhaps they were demons all along. They just were just unable to hide it later on in their careers. I mean, here you can see it almost looks like they've... Well, who knows? Who does that to their chin? There was... there was a British musician, Pete Burns, was it? Again, drastically, supposedly, by cosmetic surgery, drastically changed their appearance. And they're actually who I think of when I see those images. Could it just be in order that a number of different actors could play this role? They just ended up fitting them with a ridiculous mask and hairpiece. Who knows what these people would look like underneath? It is hard to say. Apparently they went from this person here on the right to what we see on the left. Yeah, this person went all in on the trying to look like a female, but perhaps again, perhaps that's what they were all along. Another thing it takes me back to, what was that film called? Mask, it had Cher in it. I think it was in 1985. Because obviously you had Jim Carrey's The Mask. Now this was supposed to be a prosthetic face that they put on this guy. Interesting how much it looks just like many of the... why have they all got... Excuse me. Yeah. Yeah, very little difference from what I can see between that and the images of those twins. They look pretty similar to me. At least in the exaggerated sense. By the way, yeah, very sad film, that one, Mask. With Cher. Oh, Jeff says looks like Madonna. Actually, yeah, Madonna's another one that perhaps they could no longer keep the demon in check. And Again, someone hugely criticised for blasphemy, and these are some of their older pictures where they perhaps looked a bit more human. You can see, again, the ears are well worth looking at. Actually looks like an older version of Grimes, who we looked at. Almost got the same weird pointy sticking out plastic looking ears. What's going on there? Does this look real? Plastic AF. Surely you can see that. I don't know, certainly doesn't look real to me. Another one for the scrapbook, Madonna's ears. But as she has been getting older, she's started to look more and more out there, you could say. Here she's gradually... Actually, she doesn't look too bad in this picture, I suppose you could say. But... Right, where's a recent image? It's got to the point that anyone could play. Right. Wish I could spell. Madonna 2022. Yeah, she has quite dramatically altered herself. Where are the images? Looks like they've stripped them from the internet, but I'm sure there's some videos of how she looks these days. Okay, that's... Alright, we'll put this on for a second. Of course, this is mixed with overlays. But yeah, it does have a resemblance to the mask, to some of the other people, Pete Burns and those twins whose name I can't remember. Bogdanov twins. Is it just severe plastic surgery? Or yeah, some of it is blatant, you know, filters that you no doubt get on certain apps. Other things are a lot more concerning. Who knows what it is? Classy. Is that meant to be Madonna? Wow, she looks very strange. Darn right bizarre. The Madonna, how old she might be? In her 60s? Look at that vein going down her arm. One vein in her whole body. Okay, yeah, I mean, I'll let you find these videos for yourself. There's plenty out there. The dark truth behind Madonna's face transformation. I doubt anything with the word truth in it is ever the truth. Well, who knows? KG says something very freaky going on in the world. Absolutely. There are some real bizarre characters out there. And these bizarre characters do seem to attract each other. Is that supposed to be the same woman we've been looking at? She looks totally different to some of the images. Apparently she mixes with the Queen, who we see here in orange. Yeah, I've said many times that pretty much every report, good, bad or indifferent, written about the royal families are completely staged and fabricated. On that note, actually, as I mentioned, Prince Harry. Apparently one of the articles did a headline on April Fool's Day where it came out saying that Harry was not Charles's son. Although, of course, that's been suggested for real, by plenty of people. Apparently, Harry's had to come out and had it someone else suggesting that the book he bought out, again, which this article is just 100% an advert for. It's in the public interest to know how Prince Harry answered the drug question. This is referring to on a visa they have to ask answer whether or not they've taken drugs or ever had any connection to it or something. Prince Harry has been urged to explain how he was able to enter the United States and obtain a visa despite admitting to taking hard drugs such as cocaine, magic mushrooms and cannabis in his memoir Spare. Of course, he was already in the United States before Spare came out. But again, what direction will this article go in? Will it question the legitimacy of any of these members? No, of course it won't, because this is from, I'm not sure what article, I think it might be The Independent actually. Right, where are we? The Duke of Sussex, who relocated with Meghan Markle in 2020, has been advised that he should be totally transparent over his application and how he answered the question, or risk becoming a political pawn under US law. Anyone applying for a visa to live in America has to tick yes or no to the question, are you or have you ever been a drug abuser or addict? In the past, celebrities such as Nigella Lawson and Amy Winehouse have been denied entry after admitted to taking drugs on their application forms. The authorities are now have until April the 12th to respond to a Freedom of Information request by leading American think tank, the Heritage Foundation, who seek to determine how he managed to get it. They do point out that it's not impossible to get a visa, even if you do admit that. They say, if he'd been honest and open about his use, and there's no reason to believe he is not. No, of course, I'm sure the royals are never anything but open and honest. I hope you can hear the sarcasm in my voice there. It could well be that he ticked yes, in which case he would need a waiver granted. That means he would have to have been interviewed and someone would have to have granted him a waiver. We're simply asking, who granted this waiver? Yeah, we're not for 1 second suggesting that everything you wrote in the book Spare is complete fiction. We just want to know whether or not there was a waiver. Or did you lie on your form, Harry? That is the only option we're given. Did you lie on the form, or did you get a waiver? No suggestion that the book Spare is a complete pile of rubbish. Because, yeah, that would be out of the question. The Daily Express would have to call themselves out as reporting fake news every time they've ever written anything about the book Spare. I know the YouTuber Some Girls has often mentioned, has made videos on Harry and whether he should be removed from the United States for admitting to use drugs, but at the moment I believe he might even be, well, he was back in the United Kingdom because supposedly he attended court to something to do with complaining about press intrusion. Bear in mind, every single news article about Prince Harry. In fact, if we do a search for news, Prince Harry news, I guarantee everyone will mention, I might not be wrong on this, but the majority will mention the book Spare. Let's see. Yep, first line, and that The Mirror. Prince Harry's strict dating rule that he decided to ditch when he met Meghan 11 hours ago. In his memoir, Spare, every single article seems to be an advert for that. Right, that doesn't work. Let's see. Look away, Andrew. It's Netflix's version of The Prince's Stroll with Jeffrey Epstein. I don't know what this one is about, but remember I called the image out as being fake. I believe this image, all these images of Prince Andrew with Jeffrey Epstein are photoshopped. That's my view. Doesn't he look like Bill Clinton in that picture? And who on earth is that? That's not Prince Andrew, surely. It looks like a woman. Andrew's disastrous 29 interview. Oh, Rufus. Right, okay, this is the Netflix remake. Okay, I thought they'd done an okay job of it, but yeah, I'll show you that video if I can find it, of where I called out Spare. Sorry, I never called Spare out. What am I on about? Let's see, how easy can I find it? About Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein having a few things in common. How far back was it? Again, here we go. Yeah, I suggested that the people who play these roles look so alike that could it even be that it's the same actor in both cases? Again, you have to watch the stream for yourself. Sorry, you have to watch this video for yourself. I'm sure I've played in with it in the past. If not, I'll play in with it next week. We got some already lined up for this week. I'll put a link in both the description and the live chat in case anyone wants to watch that in their own time. Right, my Prince Andrew. Yeah, we are going to be going to our intermission in a minute, which just gives me an opportunity to take 5 minutes. And then when we come back, we will be heading on to the main subject of, well, the title of tonight's subject, which is about reclaiming your state of mind. Originally, I was going to call this stream "Is Sickness a State of Mind?" but that title just wasn't appropriate, so I went with something else. Okay. Yeah, we're about, considering we're finishing tonight at 11:30, we are roughly around about halfway point, so it might not be too bad a time to go to the intermission. Before we do, though, I would just like to show my thanks and appreciation to Linda Mack and Midnight Scribbler for supporting me over on Patreon, also to Nathan Oakley and Skeptic936 for supporting this channel, and letting you know there are links in the description if you want to find me over on Patreon. Yeah, another thing I do invite you to do if you want to help this channel is hit the thumbs up button before you leave tonight. Subscribing and sharing if you're not already, haven't already, is also always good. Yeah, before we go to our intermission, I want to thank Jeff Gashead, KG, Sun and Sunstar Thunder Lightning for taking the time to comment in the live chat. Right, where are we? Okay, I'm gonna take a... Yeah, this intermission video goes on for, let me see, it's 6.5 minutes. Hopefully I should be back from refilling my drink and taking a 5-minute out. If not, the video will loop over and play a second time. It is from March 2021, when I pointed out how an episode of EastEnders took part in some pretty horrific product placement for a particular treatment plan. So I hope you enjoy that. And oh my goodness, what have I done? Right. Yeah, I'll be back when we are. Yeah, I'll be back when this video has finished. I'm just going to put a little message up on the screen. Back in a minute. Yeah, thank you for your patience. Hope you enjoy the video, and I'll be back for the second part of the stream in about 6.5 minutes. Okay, see you very soon. Hi everyone, now back in June 2019 I made a video about the BBC soap EastEnders doing a product placement where they clearly advertise the upcoming tour of the Spice Girls. It's against broadcasting laws for any programme on the BBC to advertise, but it looks like EastEnders are at it again. Not only EastEnders actually, Emmerdale, another British soap, on the commercial channel ITV, are also promoting the use of a product by a for-profit company. First of all, we'll watch this clip and you can see the emotional claptrap they used.
Hello. Oh, it's you. I've been calling you.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Had a lot.
Oh, it's not that awful cash and carry gag again, is it?
Do I look any different to you?
Apart from the whole smiling thing. New shirt? No? Oh, come on, where have you been?
I just had my second injection. I'm now fully vaccinated.
Oh, I thought that was next week.
So did I. And they called me and said that they could fit me in this morning, and so I'm all done.
Oh, Dad, it's fantastic. How are you feeling?
Relieved.
Me too.
Yeah. So that's my good news for the day.
Oh, that is good news. Really good news. Sorry.
Hey, come on.
Sorry, I've not said anything, but I've been counting down the days. Worried all last year that you were going to catch it, and
Well, we're not out of the woods yet, and things may change. They probably will, but when I was driving back, all I could think of was how grateful I felt and how lucky I am.
It's worth noting actually how deranged the older gentleman appears to be, how he's going on about how hopeful he is now for the future. The look in his eyes is pretty scary.
absolutely. Oh, what an amazing job they're doing, eh?
No question, incredible. And I could be premature, for today at least. But I feel real hope. Hope for us all. And I know we're not really big on hugs, but
Speak for yourself.
when we can, I'm going to make up for lost time.
And I'm going to hold you to that. We all are. Tightly.
Brighter days ahead.
Absolutely.
Now, am I the only one that finds it absolutely disgusting the way they're marketing this product, that it's the only way anyone can ever go back to living life and even hugging your own loved ones is by taking a product that's been made at a huge profit? Anyway, we'll go on to this EastEnders clip. EastEnders not supposed to be advertising or promoting any products at all. They go even worse and they bring in the anti-vaxxer.
Good morning. What a wonderful day.
Not in my house. Oh, kids. Who'd have him? You won the lottery?
Oh, yeah, man. You could say that again. Got my second vaccination?
Already? Oh, good for you. I'm due my first one later today. I'm calling it my superpower. Make me that bit more invincible.
Science is a wonderful thing, you know.
Oh, rather you than me.
Oh, don't tell me. You're one of them anti-vaxxers.
Oh, but you must admit they pushed it through too quick. Lab rats, that's what we are. No, I ain't having any of that rubbish pumped into me. 20 me fags, please. And Dolly Parton, she can say what she likes. I mean, normally I'm with her all the way, but who knows what it's going to do to us in 5, 10 years' time?
Well, let me tell you what I do know. Last year, I was lying down in a hospital bed gasping for breath. Thought it was all over. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. COVID, man, will kill you faster than them fags.
Some of the best scientists have worked on this. But you reckon you know better? How's that PhD working out for you, Karen?
Yeah, well, I've got plenty of time to think about it, you know. Being much younger than you.
Oh, well, you want to worry about getting to my age if you carry on thinking like that. After everything we've been through this year, can't help some people.
Now here we have someone, the character is coincidentally called a Karen. She makes the perfectly valid point that the Vaseline has been rushed through very quickly and we don't know how safe it really is. But they get shouted down and made to feel stupid, like, well, if you ain't got a PhD, you don't have a right to an opinion. And they talk about all the best scientists being used on this. Well, can you name any of these people? I just thought these couple of videos, which are nothing more than adverts for a product, were worth bringing to your attention. See what you thought. And there was an interesting bit. The very next scene after this, we hear Jean make this comment.
Martin needs to put his foot down. Put Ruby back in her box.
Oh, she's got him under her spell. He'll believe anything she tells him.
He'll believe anything she tells him.
Wonder if it's a coincidence or not. Listen to it and see what you think. And as always, thanks for watching and share any thoughts you have. Okay, welcome back to the second part in tonight's stream. Thanks if you're still with us and tuned in. And special thanks to Jeff Gashead, KG, and Midnight Scribbler and Sunstar Thunder Lightning for taking the time to comment in the chat. If anyone else wants to say hello, it's always good to see your name in the chat. On that note, actually, on the subject of the video, illnesses. As I said before we went to the intermission, I was considering calling tonight's stream, is sickness a state of mind? And although I wasn't particularly, on one hand, yeah, is, because we are going to look at some documents that might suggest that not to be the case. One thing, one question I want to ask, take mental health issues, for example. Is that something that, in the same way as supposedly BS19 could be passed on from one person to another, could mental illness be passed on from one person to another? And I don't mean in the sense of parents, or being genetically passed on. What I'm saying is, by being too close or in the proximity of a certain person, could you pick up a mental illness? Now, in the chat earlier, it was suggested that a mental illness is a state of mind, or is spiritual. And yeah, I'm completely on board with that. I do believe that the body believes what the brain tells it, and if the brain is telling the body you're going to be ill, then it starts to believe it. The intermission videos about soap operas. In one particular soap, EastEnders, there's this horrible story of a young woman, a young mother, being diagnosed with like a tumour that's they haven't got any more than 6 months to live. When a doctor tells someone they're ill, they've only got 6 months to live, is that enough for them to actually believe it, enough for their body to literally go in a state of shutdown? Of course, treatment is a big factor in people's health, one way or the other. Back on the subject of mental health, mental illnesses, think of some of the treatment that they give you. One such thing, I looked up Prozac because that was the only one of the only medicines I could really think of off the top of my head. What is Prozac treated for? Well, the brand or the actual name is fluoxetine, and belongs to a group of medicine. It's called selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. So bear in mind, serotonin is supposedly the chemical that goes around us when we feel good, and fluoxetine inhibits that. If you listen to the name, it inhibits the reuptake of serotonin. Adults, so it's used to treat major depressive episodes, obsessive compulsive disorders, bulimia, and we're told everyone has serotonin. People who are depressed or have obsessive compulsive disorders or bulimia have lower levels. It is not fully understood how fluoxetine and other SSRIs work, assuming they do work, of course, but they may help increasing the levels of serotonin. Well, they're inhibitors, so how does that work? What you need to know, it's always worth looking at possible side effects. Hang on, can I get this zoomed in a bit so you can hopefully read it a bit better? Possible side effects. Like all medication, it can cause side effects, although not everybody gets them. This is the patient information leaflet. This isn't some alternative media presenting this information. This is actually the information leaflet that you are given with Prozac or fluoxetine. You can... Alright, if you have thoughts of harming or killing yourself at any time, contact a doctor. Some patients have had a combination: unexplained fever, short heart rate, sweating, confusion, extreme agitation or sleeplessness, irritability and extreme agitation. Hang on, is this what it treats or is this the side effects? Anxiety and nervousness is a common side effect. This is under the common side effects. 1 in 10 people. Uncontrollable shaking movements. Let's go down to the uncommon. So 1 in 100. Feeling detached from yourself, so depressed. Strange thinking. Abnormally high moods. A bit like thoughts of suicide or harming yourself. So I say, is it possible for one person to pass on a mental illness to another? Say a pharmacist, for example, hands you a box of pills that, because you've been feeling a bit down or a bit low lately, the doctor instantly jumped on, oh, I'll give you some antidepressants, and they're literally passing on to you something that could make you feel nervous or anxious, tense, unusual dreams, tiredness, uncontrollable shaking, blurred vision, detachment, strange thinking, thoughts of suicide. So when a doctor or a pharmacist literally passes you this box of pills, is that what they're giving you? Rare hallucinations. Again, agitation. Well, I thought that was a common side effect. Confusion, stuttering, aggression, fits. Okay, so on that sense, let's look at something else. Salbutamol, again, not used to treat mental health issues as far as I'm aware. It is used to treat asthma, breathing problems, PIL. Let's see what the side effects is for an inhaler. Possible side effects. Increase in wheezing and shortness of breath immediately after dosing. So these inhalers that are used to treat shortness of breath can give you a shortness of breath. Okay, what other medical treatments are there out there? What do they use for drug addicts? For example, methadone. Patient information leaflet. What do you think the first warning they will give you? Precautions. Okay. I'm sure they warn you on these that may cause addiction or something. It's used to stop you taking heroin. And methadone, by all accounts, gives you all the same... Well, it sounds in a lot of cases like it gives people... Yeah, here we go. Methadone is addictive, like all opioids. If you're taking it to detox, your treatment plan will include... Okay, yeah, so it's, again... Something used to treat addicts is addictive, which is kind of insane. Midnight says look into olazapine. And KG says, yeah, well, the mind goes, the body follows, definitely. We certainly will look at olazapine, by the way, Midnight. And I'm not sure if that's maybe a name for lithium, because I know that's another... What was the other one I was wanting to look at? Right. Olanzapine. Right. Where's the patient information leaflet? Report of side effects. Oh, okay, this isn't quite what I was after. Maybe we'll have to look on the PDF. Right, what is it used for? It's an active substance. It belongs to a group of medication called antipsychotics and is used to treat the following: schizophrenia, moderate to severe manic episodes. What you need to know if you're... Okay. Talk to your doctor before you take... You would assume that it was the doctor that had originally prescribed it. The use of olanzapine in elderly patients with dementia is not recommended as it may have serious side effects. By the way, dementia, is that just another side effect? Very rare medicine. Right, let's find the side effects if we can. Common side effects: changing in the levels of blood cells, okay, increased levels of sugar, feeling dizziness, restlessness, tremors, unusual movements. I guess that means like tics, constipation, dry mouth, loss of strength, extreme tiredness. Uncommon side effects: hypersensitivity, diabetes, seizures, usually associated with those with histories, muscle spasms and stiffnesses, restless legs, problems talking, stuttering, bleeding from the nose, wow, memory loss or forgetfulness. Sorry, I've not made this very easy for you to read, I do apologise. Hair loss, absence and decreased menstrual periods. Sudden unexplained death, wow. So people literally can suddenly unexplainedly die from taking this medication. 1 in 1,000. Inflammation of the pancreas causing severe stomach pain. Muscle disease presented as unexpected aches and pains. Prolonged or painful erection, which was also one of the side effects with Prozac. Very rare side effects include serious allergic reaction, flu-like symptoms, rashes. Elderly patients with dementia may suffer a stroke, pneumonia, incontinence, falls, extreme tirednesses, hallucinations. Some fatal cases have been reported in this particular group of patients. And any patients with Parkinson's disease, it may worsen the symptoms. Wow. Of course, what's another one is the flu vaccine. Flu vaccine, PIL. Surface antigen. Wow. Sounds like a cleaning product. Is it just me that reads that and thinks that... Okay. Let's see what some of the side effects are for the flu jab. You wouldn't think it would be flu-like symptoms, would you? Surely not. No one would take a vaccine which possibly could make you ill. Get flu-like symptoms. Possible side effects. Tell your doctor or immediately, or go to the casualty department if you experience any of the following: difficulty in breathing, dizziness, weak and rapid pulse, skin rash, extensive swelling of the injected limb, hardening or swelling in the site of injection. Let's see, loss of appetite. Common, 1 in 10 people, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, shivering, change in eating habits, a fever. The very thing that it's supposed to protect you against is a very common side effects. Numbness and tingling. Okay, and I'm not sure if there is a patient information leaflet for the COVID vaccine. It might be worth having a look. COVID vaccine, PIL. Let's see, product information list. A vaccine used for preventing, who knows, perhaps that V is a typo, should be an S. It's given to adults who previously received that. Possible side effects: feeling faint or lighthearted, changes. Right, I like how they say most of your side effects will occur within 3 days. So anything beyond 3 days isn't considered isn't considered a side effect, I guess. Yeah, shortness of breath. Isn't that one of the symptoms of COVID-19, is a shortness of breath? feeling sick, stomach pains, the chills. So basically, yeah, well, that's a high fever, isn't it? Where you feel chilly. Yeah, fever, tiredness, diarrhea, feeling sick. All the things you would think it was designed to prevent. Let's see, what's another one? One more. Lithium PIL. Otherwise known as Priadel. Right, I'm sure this will give us a common side effects. Midnight tells us you put on 4 stone in a year. It's the first thing they give you. Yeah, 4 stone. There's 14 pounds in a stone, so it's about 14.28. It's about 50 to 60 pounds in American weights. Right, lithium, something they give for. Yeah, I had family members that were on this. One of them apparently tried to take their life because of. Well, I'm not sure if they were trying to come off it or what, but... And again, some of this medication may work brilliantly for some people. Unfortunately, with a lot of cases, it's when you start trying to come off of it. Right, lithium side effects. Of course, shortness of breath, fever, weakness, dizziness, memory problems, hallucinations, wow, problems with balance, low sodium, thyroid problems, dehydration, increased pressure inside the skull, severe headaches, ringing in your ears. Actually, ringing in my ears is something I got, but I believe it's from wearing headphones for too long. You know, as a kid. Not a complete list of side effects. Lithium side effects in more detail. Interesting. They've had to go to a separate web page for this. Of course, all the information we're presenting tonight is 100% in line with the information provided by the World Health Organization. So they have no reason in the world to suggest that I'm sharing any misinformation. All comes straight from the government's own website. Well, the actual website. Right, fruit-like breath odour. Is that necessarily a bad thing? Difficulty in speaking. Burning feelings in the chest. Chills. Blue colour and pain in the finger and toes. Sounds absolutely horrible. That's obviously circulation. Shakiness and unsteady walking. Shuffling walk. Sunken eyes. Swollen ankles and wrists. Tremors. Twisting movements of the bod. Whatever that is. Uncontrolled jerking or twisting movements in the hands and arms. Uncontrolled movements, especially in the face, neck and back. So, yeah. Tics, I guess you would call that. Facial tics. Unexplained weight loss, the opposite to the earlier antipsychotic drug we looked at. Convulsions. So, how easy is it to be made ill? Less common, I'm sure. Suicidal thoughts or tendencies, I would assume, come up, but I guess not in this case. Although anything that could make you hallucinate could easily cause you to become suicidal, in my book. Right. Somnolence. Don't even know what that is. Startled response. transient electro... What? Never heard of that one. Widening of the EEG frequency spectrum. Again, no idea what that is. Right. Gastrodermatologic. Endocrine. Musculoskeletal. Wow, they've got a huge amount of side effects. Psychiatric, the worsening of organic brain syndromes, confusion, delirium, hallucinations, restlessness, tics, worsening of organic brain syndromes, whatever they are. I am going to look at one of the side effects actually. Transient electroencephalogram. A test to monitor the sensitivity of the brain and thereby detect disorders, if any. Okay. So it's a cerebral functional test. Gotcha. Yeah, my thoughts on this one is, can a mental illness be passed on from one person to another? 100% it can. It comes in the box they give you from the pharmacy, from the doctors. Right, we are fast approaching 11:30, so we are going to be winding down in a minute. I think we covered all the subjects we meant to tonight. Let's see, did anything slip past us? We do have a video to play out with tonight. We're not winding up immediately, we've got about 5 minutes left. This is where I wind down. By the way, this is the image that you get on the Bing web page search. The NGC 2835 spiral galaxy in the Hydra constellation. What do you reckon? Genuine photo or artist impression? Let's see. I believe. Okay, that's not what we're looking for. Right, face on barrel 41 million light years away in the constellation of Hydra. You think there's any camera anywhere near Earth that can take a picture of something 41 million light years away? What is a light year, you might ask? Supposedly the amount of time it takes light to travel. So, any telescopes or lenses that are claiming to pick this up are claiming that the light's from 41 million years ago. Absolute insane. Right, I'm going to have a look at the chat before we finish. Let's see. Midnight says he was. Hope you don't mind us sharing this information, Midnight, unless you'd rather I didn't read it out, because you were talking about 9/11. Okay. And also says the meds make you miserable. I've lost 17 IQ points since taking it. It reduces life expectancy by a couple of decades, but we're forced to take it. Yeah, I am terribly sorry to hear you're in that situation, Midnight. Again, the problem with a lot of medication is that coming off of them can be just as hard as being on them, or but I suppose you have to approach a time where, I mean, I certainly wouldn't ever give anyone medical advice on this stream. I just share my opinions. I just share the patient information leaflets that we get with certain treatments. None of it actually looks to me as anything I would say. I've always said, trust your God-given immune system where possible. And yeah, I mean, if I was in a position where I was being forced to take a medication, I mean, many of us found ourselves in that situation back in 2022, where not that we were being forced so much, but peer pressure was massive for people to start taking a particular treatment plan, to the point where I think people were even being scared, being taught to be scared of being around those that declined it. Okay, right. We are gonna start finishing up in a minute. I will be playing us out with a video from, when was it? January 2022, Ashley Kane's £1.5 million lie. Of course, mental health, of course, is also affected. You know, everyone's mental health is affected by information that comes in from those around, you know, from, yeah, the information from external sources, such as mainstream media, believing and following what you see on the news and taking it seriously is a great way to be depressed. Naturally, you know, feel terrible, believe in it, so you go to a doctor, and yeah, they jump at the chance of putting you on that sort of treatment. You know, people in general, I'm obviously talking about. I'm not directly, I'm not directing this at anyone. But yeah, all I can say is, yeah, I mean, my state of mind is massively benefited by just praying. That is something that really does help. Also, reading the Holy Scriptures and observing the day of rest really does just kind of set my week up really well, and it just does give me a good state of mind. And yeah, there is something, you know, places that blatantly break the Sabbath day are generally very toxic places, full of toxic people. And if you can avoid joining that sort of, yeah, anyway, okay, I'm going to start rambling if I don't finish up soon. So I would like to say a sincere thanks to Midnight Scribbler, KG, and Jeff Gashead, and Sunstar Thunder Lightning for commenting in the live chat. We're going to finish up now. Midnight says, psychiatrists are scumbags. They lie and try to push your buttons. Looking forward to them burning. But it's made you stronger. Well, yeah, I am glad to hear that. Of course, yeah, he that perseveres till the end will be saved. Yeah, keep fighting, Midnight, and same for anyone else who tunes in tonight and finds himself in a situation that seems hopeless. There's always a way. And okay, right, before we do wrap up for the night, I am gonna finally invite you, if you want to hit the thumbs up button before you leave, that is always appreciated. And I would, what happened there? I would invite anyone that wants to check out my content over on Patreon to, yeah, either follow the link on screen, QR code, or patreon.com/bzines. Massive thanks to Midnight Scribbler and Linda Mack for supporting me on Patreon. Also thanks to Nathan Oakley and Skeptic936 for their support. Also to everyone who has tuned in tonight and watched my content. It really is appreciated that you spend your time listening to what I've got to say. I am going to try and be back Tuesday. If not, I'll certainly be back on Thursday. We are gonna wrap up, I think, now. And yeah, Midnight, that's beautiful. God stepped in. I'm really pleased to hear that. Okay, have a good few days. I'll certainly be back, if not before Thursday, but I am going to aim for Tuesday morning if you're around. Okay, enjoy my video about Ashley Kane from January 2022. Once this plays out, we will be finished for the night. And yeah, thanks again. Okay, take care. Good night. Hi everyone, now I've made a few videos on fake pregnancies and fake babies and couples, production companies passing off what's supposed to be couples